And a good spiritual morning to you once again. Christ is risen. Christos Anesti. I'm Father Cosmas. Thank you for joining me today for a quick cup of coffee and a chat from my prayer corner at home. So we've talked about a lot of different things, and I thought we would talk a little bit since we're moving into summer. I mean, kids are starting slowly to wrap up their schooling, their e-learning. They're hopefully getting their assignments in. They're getting all the emails of how to finish up the school year. You know, when do they have to go in to sort of clean out and pick up things that they've left at their schools. And so we're starting to sort of make this transition. You know, at some point the weather has to get better, right? It can't stay like this forever. And think about summer. And, you know, one of the main things to think about when we think about summertime is hopefully something that we're not going to lose this summer. And that is our ability to travel. Because we sort of think about summertime being synonymous with taking trips and traveling. Obviously, we're going to be a little restricted. We're not going to be flying and moving about the country or the world, maybe as much as we would have in years past, or maybe even as much as we would have planned. But I wanted to talk about traveling a little bit because I think that that's a huge part of summer and finding some sense of balance and happiness in our life, new experiences, new places, and the joy of maybe experiencing that together as a couple or as a family. So it's going to be difficult for people to travel. Obviously, I don't think anyone wants to get on a plane right now and fly for hours and hours in a trapped space with a lot of people. But, you know, maybe there are some possibilities for travel that we have overlooked and we should, you know, reconsider. I know growing up, I was able to take a few trips on airplanes. It was a big deal to fly back then, right? When we took our trips to Greece, it was once in a while, not every year. It was a huge deal. We didn't tend to fly all over the country or all over the world. We didn't travel that way much. We took road trips. I grew up in Los Angeles, so California being a beautiful state, it was easy to pile in the car and drive up the coast and see beautiful scenery, or, you know, see the ocean. You're driving in the mountains. There's beautiful cities. You're blessed with a lot of options there. And so I just wanted to sort of encourage us to think about different possibilities for travel. Nowadays we think about these different sort of ideas that we never thought of when we were kids, you know, 20, 30, 40 years ago. We piled in a car and we just took a trip. And we worked it out. Nowadays, you know, we think about we have to fly somewhere. You think about using points. You think about Airbnb. You think about hotels. You can think about all this different level of travel that maybe we didn't do when we were kids a generation or two ago. And maybe that's something that, you know, we're missing out on, something that we can rediscover. Nowadays, we want to get to our destination as soon as humanly possible. And we want to enjoy sort of the destination. Used to be we enjoyed the journey. And oftentimes the journey was really the vacation. It was spending the time getting there, which was also an amazing thing. Spending some time in a van, in a car, driving someplace. And so I would encourage you to think about maybe rediscovering the beauty of a good old-fashioned road trip where we piled in a car and we drove somewhere. We got in our minivan and we took a trip. It doesn't have to be across the country. It can be just for a few hours to a certain place. But that idea of traveling in that way and getting out and moving about the country, it's wonderful. And far too often we take for granted what we have here in America. We're so, you know, bent on, well, I've got to go visit this country and visit that country. Of course, those are wonderful things. And far too often, there are people that have visited more countries than they have visited states in the United States. Maybe this is a time under these restrictions where we can rediscover the beauty of our own country, because there is such a variety of geographic, you know, wonders that are available to us. There are people that have seen the Eiffel Tower, they haven't seen the Grand Canyon, or people that have gone to see Stonehenge. Maybe they haven't seen the redwoods. And so this is an opportunity for us maybe to take a trip as a family or as a couple and let the journey be part of the vacation. Reconnect when you're trapped in that small space for hours, and be able to spend time with the ones that we love, and to be able to move around the country and to discover different things that are available to us. If it can be 5, 10, 20 hours, if you can put up with that and handle that, great. If you can't, maybe it's just 2 hours or 3 hours to go somewhere and to get away, even if it's for a weekend, to rediscover a weekend road trip someplace that's close by, but maybe a change of scenery, maybe getting out of the same four walls that we've been stuck in. That's okay. We're not experiencing martial law. We don't have curfews. We don't have to stay in our homes. We can get in our cars and we can drive somewhere. Again, within reason, and making sure that we're taking precautions and that we are being responsible and safe with respect to our health and the health of those who are around us. May our risen Lord and Savior bless us and keep us this day and every day. Christ is risen.